18 cars on the grid for Heat 1, being led off by Keith Neville in car number 9 and Craig Smith in 407. Will Warnes likewise in car number 91. One or two starters, non-starters, so 428 amongst the white tops, Paul Baker, non-starter. Richard Mason amongst the A-graders and Dave Beresford amongst the stars, and the one extra car number 307 Tim Warwick, giving you 18 in all. The green flag goes down first time. 18 cars on the grid now, find a line round there pretty quickly, and it's Craig Smith in number 407 who bows his way to the front of the pack in the very early stages, followed immediately by that man who had so much success at Bradford last Monday, Steve Casey in car number 380. He's going to nudge his way ahead. Keith Neville in car number 9 also making the challenge as the first three cars come out of turn 4, still quite close together with Casey in the lead in 380 from 407 at number 9. Then we've got Tim Warwick in 307, Dave Cottrell in number 75, and Johnny Gordon in car number 5. And those first half dozen cars or so broken away from the rest of the pack at this stage. Car number 78, Richard Johnson there, easing it down that far side. Station up far behind in 159 with Will Warnes, in fact, in the number 1, in 91, giving a little nudge to 215. Jeff Nichols moving them aside, moving up a place. Meanwhile, Kaiser has quickly opened up a gap. Craig Smith is doing all sorts of strange things out there on the centre green. And here comes Steve Kaiser in the lead in car number 380. And quite a remarkable gap, very quickly opened up by the lead car. Number 5, John Goodall in that second place. Keith Neville third in car number 9, followed by number 78. 159, John Say, 75, David Cottrell, 91, Will Warnes, 52, Craig Hart. And then the first of the star men, Paul Harrison in car number 2. Harrison, in fact, goes out wide there. And he's been pursued down that back straight by John Wright in 128. And right behind him is Rob Pearce in 175, who gets himself caught up there with Steve Hodgson in 172. Both of them coming to grief on the Coventry bend. Gareth Mott in trouble as well in car number 41. Mr. Perfect, not quite so perfect on that occasion, but he gets back into the fray. 380. Number 5, as Gareth Mott in car number 41 moves off to the safety of the centre green. Hodgson comes back. Steve in number 172. Awful lot of ground though to make up after that slight spot of bother on the Coventry bend. Stephen Kaiser though in 380, certainly showing the way round from Goodall in number 5, still in that second place, the third man. Still to come through, it's a 159, in fact, John Sage from Paul Harrison. Oh, and up and over they go. Oh, there's got to be, that had got to happen there. Number 78's the man, Wade Yellows goes straight out. Richard Johnson, the man there who goes straight over, hits the marker tyre. There was nowhere for him to go. The yellows come out, and immediately there's help to hand. But he certainly did go down there. And the driver is all okay, ladies and gentlemen, climbing from the car there, acknowledging that he's all okay. So we'll bring them, no doubt, to a halt. Our starter will probably do that in just a moment, with the lead car, of course, being number 380. And do remember that they stay in that order, nobody unlaps themselves. So what it means is that they're not necessarily in. and away they go again. And John says she car number 159 involved with Steve Moxley, car number 172 again. And Steve's got an opportunity to rejoin, or is he going to call it a day? It looks to me he is. Full stop to the safety of the centre green, which further depletes the field. Mr. Kaiser in the lead, car number 380. There he goes, whipping his way down the start-finish line, with Paul Harrison making ground rapidly now in car number 2. And in fact, Paul has just moved up into third place, but immediately losing again, I think, because Johnny Goodall wrestled him back straight away in car number 5. However, Paul's in pursuit again in car number 2, and this is halfway, Mr. Starter. So it's 380 in the lead. Goodall in car number 5 in that second place. Paul Harrison third in number 2. 91 Will Fords fourth. 128 John Wright fifth. And away goes Saish in car number 159, straight into the dead car, parked up on the centre green for some time, and punts that across the green for several yards. But it looks as if the driver of the 159 car is all okay, and hopefully not too much damage to the number 407 car of Craig Smith. Hazer though, Stephen still out very much in the lead. Number 237 car typically pulls off. He's gone to the centre grade, so again another casualty. And with 5 next time, Mr. Starter, it's still Stephen Kaiser in 380 who leads from number 5, John Goodall, and number 2, Paul Harrison. Then comes Will Ward in number 91. 5th is 128 John Wright, and 6th is car number 175. And Rob Pierce moved up there. Kaiser putting that back end out, but of course he's certainly not under any pressure whatsoever. Not at all as he goes down that far side. Number 5 and number 2.
Yeah, we were just in fact keeping an eye there on that number 75 car, because the lad is certainly having difficulty getting it round the turns, and John Goodall also having similar difficulties, but not for the same reasons. He's having a problem because Paul Harrison was pounding down behind him, and just as he is now, the old bumpers are going in left, right and centre down there. However, it's still Kaiser in car number 380. Paul Harrison gets by to take second place in car number 2. John Goodall is now third in number 5. Still opportunity perhaps for changes, because the last lap forward isn't out yet, but it's now onwards. Keep an eye on those. John Wright a bit further down, smoking as he goes down the back straight. The last lap forward goes out as Stephen Kaiser in car number 380 then. All set for what looks like a very comfortable win indeed as he motors down the back straight for the last time. No real problems, either in front of him or immediately behind him, simply because of the casualties throughout. Oh yes, Will Fords is leaving bits of engine all over the track, or whatever, we can see it down there. The checker has gone down. Stephen Kaiser has taken it. Okay, Mr. Starter. Confirmed results for you of Event 1, the Ford Fiesta leading trophy. Stephen Kaiser, of course, first in 380. Second, number 2, Paul Harrison. Third, 5, Johnny Goodall. And fourth, 128, John Wright. Fifth, 175, Rob Pierce. Sixth, 52, Craig Houth. Seventh, 24, Lisa Harter. And eighth, number 75, David Cottrell. Just 8 finishes, and of course 19 time because of the stoppage. This is the second event of tonight's sponsored meeting, the BriSCA Supreme Championship and the Nuneaton Ford Probe Trophy. Heat 2 for the Ford Escort LX Trophy. Cars then on the grid, ladies and gentlemen, as the green flag goes down, and that's a superb looking machine. Jim Collins leads them away, car number 400. So Conlon then coming around there, the car perhaps not holding on to that line as he would have liked around the turns, but nevertheless he's got the power there, moves it down the home straight, followed by Ray Script in car number 110, and Billy McGrath in car number 434.
Off goes Paul Lowe in car number 410 to the centre green, being the first retirement of this particular event. Conlon still out in the lead. Oh, and Scriven, in fact, who looks as if he might be making a bid for it, then loses it on turn 3. There's a little bit of difficulty getting around 3 and 4, but then puts his foot hard down. King moving rapidly in car number 31, who's on the inside of McCrudden, moves up into 3rd place. So at this stage in the proceedings, it's Conlon in car number 400 leading. From 2nd place, man 110, Ray Scriven, and 3rd, 31, Dave King. Then comes 434, Peter McCrudden, and 237 in that 4th place. 337, just checking that as they come through again. 337, sorry about that. He's the man in that 3rd place. A little bit further down, Rob Cowley coming under pressure in car number 73. First from 98, Les Spencer, who's passed him by. And then Richard Mason in car number 202. But Cowley comes straight back. That's what I like about Rob. He always comes straight back into the fray again. And he moved then quite rapidly past Mason, who had already gone by him on one occasion. Just keeping an eye on things down on that far side. 31 now the leader, so it's King who's gone into the lead from Conlon in 2nd place in car number 400. Scriven still there in the 3rd place. It looks as if number 337, Dave Willis, is still 4th, followed by Murray Harrison in 97, Jamie Davidson in 464, Les Spencer in 98, Peter McCrudden in 434, and Rob Cowley in car number 73. Now, even at this stage of the proceedings, King, with a lead like that, is going to be an extremely difficult man to replace. And one of the star men who won't have much say in the proceedings is, in fact, 371, Shane Dorrell, who's retired again to the safety of the centre green. Put him right out of contention, of course. Nigel Wharton doesn't seem to be too happy in the moment because he's still bringing up the rear of the grid, an unusual position to find Nigel Wharton in on any surface. 31, Dave King then shoots by at the halfway, Mr. Starter, followed by Jim Conlon, still there in car number 400, and Jim will be very pleased about that situation, surely, and maintaining the sort of driving that he is on this stage. He might well still finish quite high in the places. Les Spencer will have something to say about that. He's certainly the first man that's likely to in car number 98. He's already closing up on Harrison again in number 97, who in fact is being held back. The door being firmly shut by Conlon in number 400. And Harrison knows that he's going to have to use the front end to move Conlon aside, which he does. Does it nicely with just 5 next time, Mr. Starter. So it's 97, 98 and number 400. And Harrison seizing his chances well. Just nudged the cars aside and went through to take 2nd place. King then in car number 31 leads about, I don't know, a quarter of a lap or so in front from Harrison Murray in car number 97, Spencer in 98, Conlon in number 400, Davidson in 464, Mason in 202, and then the world champion in car number 1. And in fact, whilst Mason skidded out a little bit on the wide side as he exited from the home straight into turn 1 and 2, that was enough for Peter Pauling to come through nicely and move up, which he did in car number 1. However, the world champion is, what, 3/4 of a lap behind the actual lead car. Again, quite a remarkable situation to find Peter Pauling in. But he's still tramping on, goes past Conlon, and has now got Jamie Davidson in his sights, and there's still an opportunity to move up a place or two before that checkered flag goes down. However, the man who's actually leading is still Dave King in car number 31. From Harrison in 97, still locked in a deadly battle, though it's Spencer in car number 98. Spencer should surely, in a moment or two, winding up enough to have a go at the rear end of that number 97 car. Davidson in 464, being pursued by Pauling in car number 1. The last lap forward going out, it's King who's safely established at the front of the pack, number 31, and certainly in an unassailable position at this stage in the proceedings, barring, of course, anything untoward happening other than the last turn. He goes down the back straight with confidence. Meanwhile, number 97 and 98, Murray Harrison and Les Spencer are still fighting it out. The checkered flag goes out and it goes down, and Dave King takes it. Harrison is going to cross the line in 2nd place in car number 97. With Spencer 3rd in number 98. Davidson 4th in 464. Pauling 5th in car number 1. And Mason 6th in car number 202. Just observations, ladies and gentlemen. Please wait until the final confirmation before entering in your programme. Or 1 or 2 more to come through. We've now got them all, Mr. Starter.
Of course, first,
car number 31. And it's he who takes the Ford Escort LX trophy home with him. 2nd place was number 97, Murray Harrison, and 3rd, 98, Les Spencer. Jamie Davidson was 4th, driving car number 464, and 5th place went to number 1, Peter Pauling. 6th was 2:02 Richard Mason, 7th 2:13 Des Chandler. 8th, number 400 Jim Conlon. 9th was number 337 Dave Willis, and 10th was 2:12 Frankie Wayman.
Hello.
Andre Zang then in car number 402 is the man in inside pole position. He's responsible for setting the pace. And they go, first time, the green goes down. 18 cars on track as they wind up and go away. Still a bit slippy out there. Phil Bicknell in car number 17 next down the home straight as he crosses the start line and moves into turns 1 and 2. Andre Zang leading the pack over on that far side in car number 402. Colin Nairn in 280 and 117 Rob Scribb. Then comes Graham Bird in car number 99. Phil Wilton in car number 6 going out a little bit wide on the Coventry turn. They're still all quite closely packed, no one really getting away. Zang in fact moves around 1 and 2 and down the back straight. Has no problems as far as anything happening in front of him. The man who seems to be making somewhat rapid progress, particularly down that back straight, is Derek Fairhurst. I think in car number 218 he gets a smack in the rear from the number 6 Phil Wilton car, and following a similar line goes Andy Smith in 391. Colin Nairn has problems exiting from turn 4 in car number 280. He's broadside across the track, but not necessarily in the racing line just at the moment. Another one suffering is Rob Scribb in car number 110. 203 Dan Clark. He's trampling all over Kev Smith in car number 64, right in the middle of the Coventry turn as the leaders come through again. Andre Zang in car number 402, still up there from Bicknell in car number 7. Bird in 99. 2-3-9-1. Andy Smith. Fairhurst in 218, Kaiser in number 17, that's how they are. Zang then powers his way down the home stretch, goes into 1 and 2 round the pit bend. Kaiser on the inside in number 17, about to be challenged again by Fairhurst in 218, who tries a very tight inside line. But Kaiser, of course, very, very experienced man, shuts the door very firmly and refuses to allow anybody through. However, the man who does bustle his way through on the inside is Lund in car number 53, who goes straight past Derek Fairhurst in 218 and now goes chasing after Kaiser in number 17. Still Andre Zang in 402 as he comes into the home straight again. Number that 402, there he goes. Remember that Dan Clark 203 is down, so the man in second place is 391. Andy Smith, third, 17, John Kaiser, but he's just lost that to third place man 53, John Lund, fourth, John Kaiser, fifth, Derek Fairhurst, sixth, Junior Wayman, seventh, Bobby Burns, eighth, Graham Bird, 99. So, Andre Zang about to relinquish the number 1 slot, and he held it until lap 7, so that he could gain, if nothing else, a valuable load of experience from that. Back in front, or up front now, goes 391 Andy Smith. From 53, John Lund, at the halfway stage, Mr. Starter. Now this could be interesting because we've got the 391 car out in front from John Lund in 53. Still a useful gap between first and second places. Kaiser's moved up into third spot, of course. Then Junior Wayman in 515, Bobby Burns in 471, and Derek Fairhurst in 218. So the starter clearly indicating to all concerned. Neil Long, of course, departed in car number 79, sadly. Phil Bicknell also goes off to the centre green. Meanwhile, Andy Smith in 391 maintains his number 1 slot with 5 next time, Mr. Starter. So with 5 laps to go next time, it's Andy Smith in 391 from John Lund in 53, who as yet doesn't seem to have narrowed the distance between first and second places. Quite a big gap between second and third, currently held by John Kaiser in number 17. But that could have changed very soon, because the man who shoots down the inside of the home straight to take third place is Junior Wayman in 515. Still 391.53 and now 515.17, 471, 218, and maybe Wayne Handley's up there now in 378. That's just an observation, needs to be checked, of course, which he no doubt will be. 391 and 53, first and second, and then Junior Wayman in 515. Junior still some way behind the second placeman, which of course is John Lund. Andy Smith in 391 winds it up well, comes up against back markers. Not likely to slow him down though. He's not the sort of young man to have much trouble with back markers if they are not moved aside. They'll move aside for him. He knows that he's got to maintain the pace, particularly when you've got John Lund bearing down upon you in second place. And indeed, strangely enough, that gap has shortened just a little between first and second. but maybe not enough as the last lap board is being prepared, and starter puts it out. 391, 53, first and second. In this gap, third, Junior Wayman in 515. Fourth, 471, Bobby Burns. Fifth, 17, John Kaiser. 6218, Derek Furnhurst. 7378, Wayne Handley. 899, Graham Bird. There's the checkered flag, and it's going to be Smith who takes it in 391 from London 53, and the third man through, Junior Wayman in 515. So the man who takes heat 3 in the Ford Mondeo GLX Trophy is Andy Smith in 391. Andy Smith, of course, first in 391, followed in second place by 53 John Lund, and third 515 Junior Wayman. Fourth place went to 471 Bobby Burns, and in fifth place was number 17 John Kaiser. Sixth was 218 Derek Fairhurst, and seventh 378 Wayne Handley. Eighth place went to number 99 Graham Bird. Ninth was 26 Ray Williams, and fighting his way back into 10th place, 203 Dan Clark. A slow lap rolling start for the consolation event. The last opportunity to qualify for the final. 26 cars on the recount on the grid. Green flag down first time. They're underway in this consolation event. Andre Zhang doesn't get very far in number 407, and even across the... Oh, it's Craig, in fact, is it? Yes, in 407, yes. It is indeed, sorry. Craig Smith, in fact, waiting down then, and this finds all the power. Is he going to rejoin? No, he's not. So, 434, 307 and 117, then 21, 410 and 215. There they go. Andre Zhang, in fact, still very much there. In car number 402, sliding his car around the pit bend turn, and the whole watch of starmen roaring down the home straight, all jostling for positions. Joe 3, Dan Clark trying to break away. Rob Cowley in car number 73, giving a little bit of the old heave-ho to Jason Holden in car number 38 on the Coventry turn, as a result of which he gets up between and underneath him and moves up a place. Rob Script testing the fence down on the pit bend in car number 117, and he's not going to be the only one because that was the number 78 car who goes in there, and they're all going to go pouring in there. Gareth Budd included in car number 41, Will Ford in 91, Frankie Wayman in 212. Drivers climbing out there, and that's a bit of a dodgy position to be in. We've got a driverless car there that gets clobbered again as Tim Warwick goes straight into it. Just making sure that everything else is all okay. And in fact, wreckage removed from the track without the necessity of the yellow flags. So let's get back now to see what's actually happening out there on track. And it looks as if it's number 434 last time round who was leading, but that could well have changed. We'll just check that because it's Mark Gilbank in car number 21, in fact, who's now in the lead. Oops, and away go to Gareth Budd again, along with Keith Chambers in 250. Will Ford's in number 91, all of them again just in position. Looks as if Chambers has got a bit of trouble in car number 250 over there on the back straight. Lost the power, and as yet does not found it again. So, out it goes, Mark Gilbank in car number 21 in that car, which looks very, very smart. Nicely presented outfit is that of Gilbank's number 21. Chambers, in fact, pulls off flat front tyre, being the obvious cause of that unfortunate retirement. Off two goes Tim Warwick in number 307, and what with cars littered around the track and on the centre green, including that of Steve Hodgson, who's departed again, and Bott as well, two of the star men already on the centre green, along with Chambers, three of the star men out of contention. Well, the consolation proving to be quite a hectic affair. The cars are well spread now around this track. 21, remember, Mark Gilbank powered his way to the front. We're just looking there. Gilbank, certainly no mistake about that. In car number 21, he's all okay. Clark in second in 203. And then a bit of a gap until we saw the rest out. Nigel Wharton making a bit of ground, perhaps. Barry Heath in number 343. Jeff Nichols in 215. And then Kev Smith in 64. But certainly as far as the front is concerned, it's 21 and 203. Now at the halfway, Mr. Starter. So will we get a change if in fact Danny Clark is confirmed as being in that second place, we might well do so. The way he's driving, and one would indicate that he thinks he's there as well, because he whops that car in hard on the rear of the Mark Gilbank car, but all credit to Gilbank, he doesn't go quite as properly as Dan Clark might have anticipated or expected, so it'll be a question of having another go if he can get close enough. Nigel Wharton has bombed through into what looks like third place at the moment, and if he gets a little bit closer to the first and second placemen, all sorts of strange things can happen. Wilf Warren's at the moment keeping the door closed on the two lead cars, because Wilf is going round there refusing to give anything away. Oh, and Gilbank in fact just slides out a little bit there, as a result of which Dan Clark goes through in car number 203. Now Gilbank looked as if he was attempting to get into a shot as far as the number was concerned, but it didn't happen. He slid out again, and as a result of that, Nigel Wharton is now up there in number 422. He gets past Gilbank and goes charging after Dan Clark. Now you can see from the smoke coming from the rear of the Clark car that he's got an obvious problem. It's fine next time, Mr. Starter. So it's a question as to whether Clark can hold on in 203 from 422, Nigel Wharton. Remember that at this stage we're just making observations, and that is all. The charts will be checked carefully at the end of the proceedings. Anything which is said, just observations. So, just see what's going to happen as they come through again. 203, 422, and 21. That's how it would appear to be, with Kev Smith up there in number 64. Jeff Nichols might well be next in line in 215 after the early mayhem that took was part of the earlier proceedings in this event. Mr. Starter keeping a watchful eye on things as the 2 laps to go aboard is prepared. Clark still weaving his way nicely around this arena, hasn't certainly put a wheel wrong as far as his drive is concerned at this stage anyway. He eases it down the far side. Nigel Wharton's in pursuit in 422, from Mark Gilbank in number 21, Kev Smith in 64. And on the last lap, into 3 and 4 for the last time, then the home straight. Down he goes. Do remember we're just going to check the charts before actually confirming the result. We're still waiting for back markers to come through, 1 or 2 more needed. And we can now put the reds out, Ian, please. Okay, so here we go, the confirmed result of that hectic consolation event. 203, Dan Clark first across the line, second was 422, Nigel Wharton, and third, number 21, Mark Gilbank. Fourth, 215, Jeff Nichols, and fifth, 343, Barry Heath. Sixth was 73, Rob Cowley, seventh, 212, Frankie Wayman. Eighth, number 38, Jason Holden. Ninth, number 434, Pete McCudden, and in 10th place, number 237. Racing for the BriSCA Supreme Championship and for the Nuneaton Ford Probe Trophy, sponsored by Nuneaton Ford. flag goes down and the grand final is underway. It's going to be tough and rough out there as they all go down the home straight into turns 1 and 2. A little bit of leaning on all the way through there. John Lund finding his way going through car number 53. And that's all happening down there. It had got it with that close pack formation charging down there. They've all gone into a whole heap of trouble down there. The now leaders coming through, and that problem down there, will it clear in time? It does, and away goes Les Spencer down here in car number 98. Dan Clark was in a bit of trouble too in car number 203, and already stuck in the fence down there is Leader Harter. We've got the yellow flag, Mr. Starter, down there. Right, keep him on the wave, yellows, Mr. Starter, please. Right, 380 then, Mr. Starter, is the one that you need to keep an eye on, 380. It looks as if we're getting Jamie Davidson out of that car, number 464. And in the circumstances, of course, in so much that it's a somewhat different starting order to that normally seen. The cars brought to a halt in the order that they were, and they'll in fact restart just as soon as that 464 car is moved. Jamie Davidson out there on the car and on his feet, and all we need to do now is move that car as soon as we can. Lots of willing helpers. Just to explain once again, of course, that had we have started in normal grid graded order, then obviously a complete restart would have been ordered, but to have a problem in the early stages like that for a grid which was formed as it has been tonight would obviously take time, and therefore we bring the cars, as we did, to a halt in single file, where they will then get underway just as soon as Mr. Starter is happy as far as the pace is concerned up front. The green flag then goes down once again, and away goes Stephen Kaiser in car number 380, and Dave King in 31, and Andy Smith in 391, and that bottom bend could again cause problems again for Paul Harrison, which it does. John Lund bustles away through in car number 53, and look at them all chasing each other down there. Lund gets us back in the rear end from Barry Harrison in car number 97, and coming through on the inside very quickly, Vic then getting caught up with Bobby Burns in car number 471, and away goes Burns in 471, and away goes Harrison in car number 97. Meanwhile up front is car number 380, leading the pack down there on that far side, with number 31 Dave King in that second place, at 391 Andy Smith third. Then comes Sean Lundy, car number 53, getting back into the fray, but having lost a lot of ground is number 97 Barry Harrison. Over on that far side, Dan Clark has gone in car number 203, straight into the wires, and there's trouble too for 378 Wayne Hanley, and Rob Cowley in car number 73. Dan Clark trying to get himself free over there as Bobby Burns retires with the flat rear tyre in car number 471. Junior Wayman in 515, lost his way down that far side with a clear run in front of him, moves it into 3 and 4 and comes back into the home straight, desperately anxious to get a bit close to the front and the back of the pack. Away they go again, the leaders all getting caught up down there. Andy Smith really charging his way through, John Lund not too far away. Away goes Stephen Case in car number 380, and the pressures are really on in the early stages of this event. Wide goes 391. Andy Smith finished still holding on to that place as they come. Play your best down there, and away goes John Lund, and we got one right over down here. The yellows go out again as Dave King rolls it right across in front of us, and John Lund was the other one involved in car number 53. And there's more trouble right up there on the Coventry bend as cars get into all sorts of trouble down there. My goodness me, and look at the man who's up there very quickly to protect there. Number 5, John Goodall down there, pulls up immediately to protect the number 31 car. Driver coming out as well, and what a performance there with that little lot. Straight over went the King car. Lots of people helping him there now to get out of there. John Goodall will go back in his place. Yep, he'll go back into his place, Mr. Starter, which was in front of number 17. John Goodall goes back in front of number 17. He pulled up there to protect that overturned car. And so Stewart's decision, quite rightly, is that he goes back in his position. And we've got our man safely out there. Shakes his head. He's all okay, though. And that's good to see.
And a pretty lucky Dave King as well as he gets the rollover. Good to see him up on his feet. So let's give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we love it! All right. Over the car goes. We'll wheel her onto the centre and get back into racing. This is serious stuff this tonight. The Pro Trophy. What a race. Bev, back to you.
Right, well, lots of oil down there as well to be cleared from the track. And Dave King taking off his helmet there and doing all sorts of things. My goodness, what a roll that was too. Proving, of course, that these cars are built for that kind of treatment. And it's always great when the driver climbs out unhurt from such a spectacular roll, and one which will keep the public talking for quite a while yet. Driver all okay. Well, this final then already producing some quite hairy incidents one way and another. Slow that rolling start to get them underway over what remains of this race. An eventful one so far and more to come. So this time we get away, and Andy Smith is also very keen to get away, which he does. Puts his foot pedal to the metal very, very quickly, breaks away. Peter Faulding behind him in car number 1, and then Paul Harrison in number 2. So it's 391, 1 and 2 as they go down there. Ooh, and look at Mason getting stuck in there. My goodness me, it was Jim Conlon who was on the receiving end of that. In went the front end, and Conlon went sailing around that turn far quicker than he intended or anticipated that he would go. Smith then in the lead in 391, but Faulding in pursuit in car number 1, and then Harrison in number 2, and it could be a ding-dong of a battle between these two young men at the front of the pack, as Smith in 391 leads them down into turns 1 and 2 on the pit bend turn, followed by Peter Faulding in car number 1, then a little bit of a gap till he got a ball. Harrison in car number 2. So we've got in fact first, second and third, all second generation drivers there in first, second and third places. 202 Richard Mason, 422 98, and then number 52 Craig Howard, and Frankie Wayman in 212, followed by John Wright in car number 128. But it looks as if the battle really will be throughout this event between these two cars up front there. That's 391 and number 1, with Peter Faulding perhaps biding his time, as we've seen Peter Faulding do so often in the past. He knows that to give half a chance, young Andy Smith is just as likely to return any fumble work that might be meted out to him. So they're getting a little bit closer now. Back markers in the way, and Smith moves that to Dave Cottrell out of the way at the halfway, Mr. Starter. No standing on ceremony there. Cottrell was in the way, and he was moved. Blasting down the far side goes Andy Smith in 391, just as John Wright pulls off to the safety disintegrating car number 128. Again, back markers that might have an effect on the proceedings, but Andy Smith isn't going to allow that to happen as John Goodall goes wide on turns 1 and 2 on the pit bend there. He sweeps underneath him and moves down the back straight very quickly. Peter Faulding following a similar line around the Coventry bend. So it's still 391 and number 1, and those two drivers pulling away all the time. The man in third place. Paul Harrison in car number 2. Then again, and it's Richard Mason in 2:02, followed by Nigel Wharton in 4:22. 98 Les Spencer 52. Craig Howard 2:12. Frankie Wayman Senior. Rob Pierce in 1:75. Well, the somewhat depleted field giving these drivers a little bit more room to get around here. But we could still have that big heave before the checkered flag goes down between the first and second placeman, because Peter Faulding is not allowing Andy Smith to get too far away. He's still very much in striking distance as they dog each other around this raceway for lap after lap, and it's 5 next time, Mr. Starter. So within the next 5 we could see that big heave coming, and Andy Smith probably knows that just as much as the rest of us do. 3:91 at number 1 in first and second place is Paul Harrison. Some way behind in that second place, and Harrison gets caught up there with the back marker for a moment, and that marker was Johnny Goodall. Number 5 just clips the bumper but then goes through him and past him, and there we go. Let's keep eyes on the 2 front cars. 3:91 Andy Smith and Peter Faulding in car number 1. The man with the gold top looks as if he's just getting it ready, lining it up maybe to have a go, and if he does it will be within this next few laps. Time running out. Oh, and Smith whopping Jason Holden out of the way, number 38. He knows that he can't hang about too much. Peter Faulding's still behind him, and Peter Faulding's closing up there. They're getting closer and closer as they go down that far side. 3:91 at number 1, all there, really having a go all the time, but still Smith under pressure though, not giving anything away as he motors down the back straight past Catering, car number 390, number 17, 391 still the leader, and then number 1, 2 laps to go, and the 2-lap board goes out, and it's still Smith in 391 for Faulding in car number 1, the world champion. Young made his move, time running out now. Is he going to get close enough to make a move at all? Andy Smith knows that he's got to come very quickly. He's hanging on, trying to open up a gap as he goes down that back straight into 3 and 4. It is still Smith in 391 from Faulding in car number 1. Into the home stretch they come. The last lap board goes out, and if it's going to happen, it's going to happen this time round. So keep your eyes on those 2 as they go down the far side for the last time. Any minute now, 391 and number 1. Is Faulding going to have a go? Is he going to wind it up as they go down that far side? Is he going to get close enough? It doesn't look as if he is. Oh, and Smith just there sends the sparks flying, and Peter Faulding's trying to come through on the inside, and my goodness, he's got him! He's got him! And Faulding comes through and takes it. What a stroke right on the last turn. Something happened over there. Andy Smith, sparks flew as he hit the curb. He went out wide, lost it for just a second, and that was all that the world champion needed. Peter Faulding went through on that very last turn, and it is he who wins the Nuneaton Ford Pro Trophy and the BriSCA Supreme Championship in a superb race. Thank you, Mr. Starter. The Reds, please.
Number 1, Peter Faulding. Second, 391, Andy Smith. Third, number 2, Paul Harrison. And fourth, 422, Nigel Wharton, all second-generation drivers. Fifth place, 202, Richard Mason. Sixth, 52, Craig Howard. And seventh, 212, Frankie Wayman. Eighth, 97, Murray Harrison. Ninth, 17, John Kaiser. And 10th, 38, Jason Holden.
Goes down with 23 cars on the grid for the Stocks Lines sponsored Grand National Championship, of which this is a qualifying round, and already we've got problems with Jim Conlon in car number 400 getting involved with Paul Lowe in car number 410, who's blowing in from pillar to post literally all the way down the home straight before sliding round and places. Those cars that are bearing down on him very quickly. He's waiting obviously for them to all go by. Meanwhile, Jim Conlon's departed over on that far side in car number 400, and the leaders are beginning to come through again. 380. Oops! Well, there, Les Spencer in car number 98 and Richard Mason in car number 202 give each other a lift and go sliding off track. of them return. That remains to be seen. Meanwhile, the rest of them are still moving around here properly. Oh, but a little bit of trouble on the Coventry bend there as 3 or 4 cars all tangle as they go for position. Oh, and Barry Heath gets right into Chambers there, just put Chambers right offline. That could have been even more disastrous for Keith Chambers, but he held on nicely, as he did in that little melee that happened down there on the pit bend turn. Breaks away again and goes shooting down the back straight. 380 is the man leading the pack at the moment. Beginning to make progress through the fields and a good chance before the flag goes down of finishing in the first half dozen or so places. A long way to go though, as yet anything can happen. That's the lead car coming through there now. 391 in second place. Off goes 337, sorry, and a 391. So it's 337 and a 391 in second and third places. 64, Kev Smith is up there, so is Craig Howard in car number 52. Then comes Roy Burns in 471, Keith Chambers in 250, hanging on to that place. Chase Golden there as well in car number 38, and then John Land in number 53. The whole pack of cars still fighting for places all the way down that far side. It looks as if Stuart Smith has, Andy Smith rather, has got a little bit there, a little bit uptight. He moves the man that was giving him a problem out of the way, which was car number 337. Just a little tap on the bumper was enough, and he moves up. Still low, Stephen Case in car number 380 from Andy Smith in 391 in that second position. Then comes number 337. Dave Willis followed by Kev Smith in 64, Craig Howard in 52, Bobby Burns in 471, Keith Chambers in 250, 53 John London, number 2 Paul Harrison. Now Kaiser once again got a very commanding lead at the halfway stage, Mr. Starter, and from what we've already seen of that young man, particularly over the last week or so, he's not likely to make any kind of error, and certainly Andy Smith in number 391 has got to go some to close that gap between first and second places to get in contention in what is left of the time. Jason Holden pulling off over on the far side. Lisa Hart has already done that. Oh, and what's happening down there? Richard Mason on the receiving end again of a somewhat bouncy and fiery number 97 Murray Harrison. 5 next time, Mr. Starter. Well, Harrison was certainly winding that car up with the obvious intention of giving Richard Mason a real old smickaroo, but it didn't quite happen there. And he's still looking as if he's trying to do just that. So, watchful eye on those two whilst the rest of the laps tick away, because things might happen there. Meanwhile, Stephen Case in car number 380 is right up front, and now Andy Smith in 391. That's a car between first and second places. That might be an opportunity for him to get a little bit closer. But even so, even with his expertise, he's got to go some to get into contention before it's checkered flag time. Kev Smith is still there in number 64, so is Bobby Burns in 471, Craig Howard in 52, Keith Chambers in 250, Dave Willis in 337 and John Lund in 53. Kayser still there in 380, but look at this, Smith is getting closer and closer in 391, and it's not beyond his capabilities, perhaps now, of getting closer and closer. 2 laps to go, mind you, as Kayser throws his car nicely around 3 and 4, goes down the home straight. Oh, but Smith loses it a little bit there. Has he got a problem? Just wondered if he might have it. It looks as if he has. He has indeed. Smith has got a problem. And so moving up into second place goes 64, Kev Smith. Last lap board goes out for Stephen Case in 380 from Kev Smith in 64. Bobby Burns in 471. Andy Smith in 391. Chambers in 250 and Howard in 52. The black and white flag is being prepared, and away goes Warwick, helped on his way by Nigel Ward. Down goes the checkered. Kayser has taken it in 380 from Kev Smith in 64. Bobby Burns in 471. Thank you, Ian. Read that one if you would, please. We'll check the charts very quickly, and in fact can confirm straight away that the winner is indeed Stephen Kayser, number 3. Right, here we go with the Stocksline sponsored result. Grand National Championship qualifying round 380, of course, Stephen Kayser first. Second to 64, Kev Smith, and third, 471, Bobby Burns. Fourth, 250, Keith Chambers. Fifth, 391, Andy Smith. 6th, 52, Craig Howarth. 7th, 53, John Lund. 8th, number 1, Peter Faulding. 9th, 202, Richard Mason. And 10th, number 2, Paul Harris.